Hi, boys and girls. Today we are going to be reading the story called Have You Filled a Bucket Today? And we're going to learn that everybody has an invisible bucket that they carry around with them. Did you know that you have one? And you can either fill your bucket, you can fill someone else's bucket, or sometimes we dip into other people's buckets. And we're going to talk about being a good friend, filling buckets, and let's get started. All day long, everyone in the whole wide world walks around carrying an invisible bucket. You can't see it, but it's there. If I zoom in on these kids, you can see how they're all carrying their invisible bucket. You have a bucket, and each member of your family has a bucket. Your grandparents, friends, and neighbors all have a bucket. Everyone carries an invisible bucket. Your bucket has one purpose only. Its purpose is to hold your good thoughts and good feelings about yourself. You feel very happy and good when your bucket is full, like this girl, and you feel very sad and lonely when your bucket is empty, like this little boy. His bucket's empty. Other people feel the same way too. They're happy when their buckets are full, and they're sad when their buckets are empty. So I want you to think right now, pause and think, is my bucket full right now? Am I feeling happy? Or is my bucket a little empty? Am I feeling sad? It's great to have a full bucket, and this is how it works. You need other people to fill your bucket, and other people need you to fill theirs. So, how do you fill a bucket? Let's find out. You fill a bucket when you show love to someone, when you say or do something kind, or even when you give someone a smile. That's being a bucket filler. So right there's 3 ways that we can fill someone's bucket. We can show love to them, maybe by giving them a high five or a wave, a hug, or we could do a fist bump. When you say or do something kind, so try saying or doing something kind to your brother or sister, your mom or dad, grandma or grandpa, anybody that you live with, or even when you give someone a smile. So just try smiling at somebody today, and I bet they'll smile back at you because you filled their bucket. A bucket filler is a loving, caring person who says or does nice things that make others feel special. So when we are kind to people, that's filling their bucket. When you make someone feel special, you're filling their bucket. But you can also dip into a bucket and take out some good feelings. You dip into a bucket when you make fun of someone, when you say or do mean things, or even when you ignore someone. So I want you to be thinking too, we want to try really, really hard not to dip into someone's bucket. None of us are perfect, so we're going to make mistakes, but we want to try really hard to be kind to others and fill their buckets. So that's being a bucket dipper. A bully is a bucket dipper. So Mean Jean, the recess queen that we read yesterday, she would have been a bucket dipper at the beginning of the story. A bucket dipper says or does mean things that make others feel bad. So you can see right here, these 2 girls, they're pointing and laughing at this little girl, taking all those good feelings out and making her feel sad. And then this little boy, he's pushing and shoving the other little boy, and that really dips into his bucket and makes him feel sad. Many people who dip have an empty bucket. So if you think about this boy, he's dipping, and he has an empty bucket too. They think that they can fill their own bucket by dipping into somebody else's, but that never works. You never fill your own bucket when you dip into someone else's. So if you're mean to somebody, that's not going to fill your own bucket. That's actually probably going to empty your bucket and the other bucket. But guess what? When you fill someone's bucket, you fill your own too. So when you're kind to somebody or show love to someone, that will fill your bucket and their bucket. You feel good when you help others feel good. All day long, we are either filling up or dipping into each other's buckets by what we say and what we do. Try to fill a bucket and see what happens. There's your challenge. I want you to try and fill a bucket today. You can fill more than one, too. You love your mom and dad. Why don't you tell them you love them? You can even tell them why you love them. Your caring words will fill their buckets right up. Watch for smiles to light up their faces, and you will feel like smiling too. A smile is a good clue that you have filled a bucket. If you practice, you'll become a great bucket filler. Just remember that everyone carries an invisible bucket, and think of what you can say or do to fill it. So all day long, you want to be thinking of different ways you can fill other people's buckets. Here are some ideas for you. You could smile and say hi to the bus driver. If you're at home, you can smile and wave to somebody. Maybe in the grocery store, if you're with your parents, you can just wave and say hi to a worker, or you can wave and say hi to somebody else. You could invite the new kid at school to play with you. That's a good idea. When you're a new kid at a new school, it can be kind of scary and make you really nervous. You could write a thank you note to your teacher. That would fill their bucket. And you could also write a thank you note to your parents or to your grandparents or somebody that helps you. You could tell your grandpa that you like to spend time with him. There are so many ways to fill a bucket. Bucket filling is fun and it's easy to do. It doesn't matter how young or old you are, and it doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't take much time. Remember, when you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too. When you're a bucket filler, you make your home and your school and your neighborhood better places to be. Bucket filling makes everyone feel good. You can see there's the houses. You can see all the hearts and the colors because everybody is filling each other's buckets. Imagine what it would look like if everybody was a bucket dipper. That would be a pretty sad place to live. So why not decide to be a bucket filler today and every day? Just start each day by saying to yourself, I'm going to do something to fill someone's bucket today. And at the end of each day, ask yourself, did I fill a bucket today? So I want you to ask yourself that today, maybe after dinner or when you're getting ready for bed. Think, did I fill anybody's bucket today? Yes, I did. That's the life of a bucket filler. And that's you. So your next activity on Seesaw is going to be talking about ways that you filled other people's buckets, some ideas on how to be a bucket filler. And we're going to be talking about this a lot throughout the whole year about how to fill other people's buckets.